Before we get started with the show, we need to speak about an up-and-coming Philadelphia musician and upcoming guest on Digging in the Dome, Ryan Gilfillian. Since he was 17 and still now at 30 years old, Ryan has been in a wheelchair. Without getting into all the gritty details, he desperately needs help to get a new wheelchair and is looking for some help. Go to the GoFundMe link in our description, or right here, and donate to help Ryan out. It's a great cause. Go help this very talented young fella out. Also, stay tuned during our podcast for a word from one of our wonderful sponsors, Hardin Premier Cannabis, and a promo for the Dope Nostalgia podcast with Naomi Carmack. This next episode was really fun even though we were down one host. Enjoy our interview with Chris Sorrentino and John Szleuga of the Super Live Adventure podcast. Hello, welcome to Digging in the Dome. I'm only one half of the dome because the other part of my brain is busy getting shit on by his new kid, which is great. So I get the pleasure, not him. He may, if he pops in here, he might, you never know. But I get the pleasure of talking to two really cool guys. I get my friend here, Chris Sorrentino, and John, I'm going to butcher your last name, so you're going to have to say it for me. Szleuga?
Oh, good job. Yeah, that's fine.
Yes. And I got a bell too.
No one says it right. Yeah, we always have bells ready.
I know.
No one says my last name right, including myself.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, every now and then, if I ever run into a Polish person, I'm always like, "Can you say my last name?" And they say it real cool, but that's not how I say it.
No. Yeah. How do you say it?
I say Szleuga. Some people either drop the Z or they drop the S. I'm cool with either. It's supposed to be more like Szleuga.
Ah.
Yeah, which is pretty neat, but that's, yes. My Polish family decided to change the pronunciation and not the spelling, which is a very Polish thing to do.
Yes. And Mr. Sorrentino, obviously an Irishman, with a Sorrentino last name.
He is a bit.
I'm actually half Irish. Yeah.
No shit. Really?
Yeah.
You look like every uncle I've ever seen at a party, a family party. You look like every relative I have.
That's what they told me in jail. So.
Oh wait! Speak of the devil, I can't believe it. He made it. He's here.
Right.
Look at this. Surprisingly, Kevin, there you are.
Congrats.
Hey, congrats.
I was just telling them that you were getting shit on by your kid. That's why you weren't joining us today. But here you are.
I'm dead serious. I had to jump in and say hello.
Yes,
my kid literally just pissed down the entire wall while my girlfriend was changing him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
There you go. So it's a boy, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. He literally turned sideways on his changing table and arced one all the way down the wall.
So, that's magnificent.
That's pretty great, man. That was
I thought you gentlemen would appreciate that, and you're in good hands with my co-host here.
Yes,
Have
thank
Merry
you, man.
Christmas.
Yes,
You too. Congratulations.
Yeah, dude. Why are you dressed like you're about to rob a place? You're not that desperate for money, right? I can lend you a few dollars.
First of all, yes, I am. And secondly, I always dress like this.
True. Yeah, it's very dark. Like you're about to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, enjoy your time on Digging the Dome. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Good luck. Good luck cleaning up your piss.
Wear a slicker.
Yes. Umbrellas. Yeah, pretend like you're going to a Gallagher concert. They're one of the ponchos.
Am I plastic sheeting?
Yeah, you're going to go see Shamu. Good luck.
Later, gentlemen.
Hi, dude.
Take it easy.
That was nice of him to stop by.
Yeah.
Look at that. So, well, welcome anyway. Again, welcome to the program. It's great because we've actually had, I feel like we're doing a run of like all kinds of great Impractical Joker people. We had Jiggy on, Jiggy.
I do know Jiggy. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, dude, the amount of like Staten Island talent is insane. Like you guys are like prolific. Staten Island's the place to be, man. I got Jiggy, I had Casey Jost on.
Yes.
It's crazy. Like, so you guys all like grow up together or something like that? How did this?
No, Jiggy's not one of us.
Oh, he's not. Oh.
He's not
That's
Staten
great.
Islander.
That's very funny.
That's great.
Yeah, no, he's not. I mean, Chris and I are Staten Island. I was just talking to Mike Fenoya, who's not from Staten Island, but he's a comedian
Great guy.
on the show. Opens for the guys. I was talking to him about. He was just in a situation where he was hanging out with like Jay Miller and Murr and and James Harris, JF Harris, and he like forgot the Staten Island connection. And I was like, yeah, for me, Jay Miller used to do a show on Staten Island called Mid Evenings with Jay Miller, and it was like a talk show at the back of a bar. Started at a bar called Martini Red, and he had a meeting where he asked like different comedians from like the neighborhood to kind of come in and pitch ideas. I pitched an idea and he shot it down immediately. He hated it. And after I left the meeting, JF Harris, who I didn't know that well at the time, but he like went to high school with my brother, like all very local Staten Island. He grabbed me and he was like, hey, I like that idea. We should do it. And I was like, well, Jay didn't like it. He's like, he'll like it when he sees it. And we went to Manhattan and we shot this thing. And then after we shot it, showed it to Jay and he liked it and it got on the show. And that was kind of I felt like that's when I really started working with that crew, because Jeff Sellis, who's the director of photography, was doing camera work for that show. Sal was involved with that show. I mean, this is before Impractical Jokers. Tim Duffy, who works for Comedy Central now. So it's like just through comedy, kind of in my mid to late 20s, I started meeting a lot of people that were also doing it. And we're all really fortunate that we all ended up kind of working in comedy in some capacity, and a lot of us on Jokers. I mean, there's a huge Staten Island connection, even just members of the crew. I mean, it extends beyond writers and stuff. It's maybe the only place where it's a benefit to come from Staten Island.
How crazy is that? Yeah,
it's
right?
nuts.
That and the mafia. That's really the only place it's going to work for you.
Nowhere else.
Yeah, there's two things: you can be an Impractical Joker or in La Costa Nostra. That's
exactly
choices. So I see that, Chris. I see like I said, when you were walking away before you started yelling at your microphone, that you have a very, very like. There's a lot of movie stuff behind you. So are you like a big movie guy? Like, is that?
Oh yeah. We're in my office. I'm a huge man. Between 75 and 94. That's my time. That's my time. That's all your stuff. I don't need much before or after. Some, but not much. Dude, I'm a big movie guy. I'm a freelance artist, but I spend most of my time not drawing for clients, but I draw. I have this crazy obsession that I'm turning into a book soon, actually, where I'm drawing. It's called Real Ghostbusters, REEL Ghostbusters, where I'm drawing the Ghostbusters from the cartoon, the real Ghostbusters, REAL, in scenes from the movie.
Oh wow!
The first movie, that's like my weird passion project outside of this. That's what I spend most of my time doing.
Now, so you said you just mentioned, you obviously, as a Ghostbusters fan, you had to have gone and seen the new one.
Oh yeah, I did. I saw it twice, and for the record, the second time was because I saw it for free. I didn't pay for it.
Right, so you didn't like it.
I didn't love it.
No,
it's not a bad movie. It's not my Ghostbusters movie.
So if you're going to rank the Ghostbusters movies, because you have the first one, the second one with Eagle, and then you've got the girl Ghostbusters, and then this one. What's your order of best to worst?
Honestly,
yes,
order they came out.
Oh, really? So 1, 2, 3, and then this last one is the last in the mix, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. It might be a tie with the 2016 one.
That's a good question, because I didn't ask you about the 2016 one, and as far as like ranking.
Well, it's not canon, right? So you wouldn't like necessarily consider it as a part of like the continuation of the story. It's just this other separate standalone thing that kind of occurred.
Both, in my opinion. The 2016 one, by most people's standards, they'll tell you that's. Well, I mean, of course, that's not continuity, but they'll tell you that the afterlife is. I don't think it is. I think it's another possible continuity after the second movie. In my honest opinion, I'll make it quick and then we can get off.
No.
I'm sure not everybody wants to hear about Ghostbusters, but you got Ghostbusters 1 and 2, written by Aykroyd and Ramis, directed by Ivan Reitman. That's Definity. That's like George Lucas Star Wars. Once you deviate from that, it kind of, the canon gets slippery for me. That's how I feel with this movie. It was written by Jason Reitman and Gil Keane, I think. Directed by Jason Reitman. Jason Reitman, great guy, great director, really nice guy. He actually retweeted some of my artwork, some of that Real Ghostbusters artwork. Right. Yeah, it was pretty dope. Yeah, I was pretty happy. Yeah. But it doesn't feel like, I'm not even gonna say too much because John didn't see the movie.
The listeners probably didn't all. Yeah.
Honestly, all right, this is when I walk out of a Ghostbusters movie, I feel happy and I'm excited. I'm like, they saved the day. They saved the day.
Yes.
This movie, you walk out, it's very morose. It's very
at the end, depressing at the end.
Fucking depressed. I saw it twice. I don't need to ever see it again. That's okay.
I didn't see it yet, and you know what I asked him right away? My first question was, I said, "Is it a comedy?" And he responded, "No." And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it's a Ghostbusters movie, but for me, those original two movies, and I love the first one,
There's some jokes. Guardians of the Galaxy is more of a comedy movie than Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
I would agree with that. There is a lot. It's a heavy movie. I have seen it. And, again, I took my daughter to go see it. She loved it, obviously, because the kid Ghostbusters they think that's kind of cool, but there's definitely
I got no problem with that. I like the cast actually.
Yeah, the cast is very good. Yeah,
my problem was with some of the characters' motivations.
Yeah, okay, I got
without spoiling stuff and just certain things didn't ring true to me as a guy who's obsessed with Ghostbusters over the past 37 years. I'm 43. Like the Ghostbusters is my jam. You know what I mean?
Right on. Yeah,
it's my I legit, like I told you, this is like a draw for a passion. I built a proton pack. I have a fucking ectomobile. Yeah, I brought it from an Anovos kit. Like his company makes props, kits, and it was a better part of $1,000 cost from toe to toe.
Jesus,
Chris drives a Cube.
Nissan Cube that's tricked out.
Like a Ghostbusters vehicle, which is like the modern day Ecto. It is what they would drive, I think, for like.
Who could afford a '59 Cadillac ambulance?
You have a wrap on it with the logo. At least,
I'm trying to see if I can find a picture of it.
It's all decked out. I mean, you can't miss it. Like going down the street.
Oh yeah, I got a light on the top. Yeah, people are like, people are like, oh, it's that fucking fat guy.
That's amazing.
It's borderline dumb, but
no, not at all.
Well, because you know what? There's certain things like that I got to keep real. I'm not kidding. Like I said, Ghostbusters is my jam. Like I have to keep it real, and I always promised myself when I was older and I could afford such things, I would have a proton pack and an ectomobile by hook or by crook. Obviously, like I can't afford a fucking '59 Cadillac ambulance right now. Yeah, but I could make a car into an Ecto One.
That's amazing. Oh, dude, look at that thing. Yeah, it does have the fucking thing on the. Move it this way. This way.
Oh,
nope, other way. Right there. Oh yeah, look at that.
In front.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, if you ever see that zipping around Staten Island, you're like, there he goes.
Unbelievable. All right, so I have so many questions, but because you have so many other like movie things in the background, like do you have like a whip from Raiders of the Lost Ark? Do you have a hat? Well,
it's I got a lot of Christmas presents stacked here too in the office, so you can't see.
Right.
Yeah, by that Raiders poster yonder, there's I have like styrofoam heads, and on it's like an indie hat with a whip, a Darth Vader full helmet, and Jake Blue's sunglasses and hat.
Dude, Chris went through a period as a teenager where he wore the Indiana Jones hat and carried the whip. Like he'd go to the Staten Island Mall dressed like that and stuff.
And start whipping things.
Are you kidding me?
I'm a complete maniac.
A friend, and I remember our friend telling me that he remembers watching Chris's parents look at him from the house while he was like playing with the whip outside, and you could tell they just didn't know what the fuck to do with it.
No, they were. I also in my spare time I also do a lot of like John Belushi cosplay.
Oh yeah.
Because that's me with Aykroyd.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
You say Baby Belushi? Is that what it says?
Yeah, Baby Belushi. You saw Baby Belushi? That's me, Baby Belushi. Yeah, on Instagram. Look for me. Baby Belushi, baby.
That's fantastic.
Thank you, man.
Now look at you, dude. Oh my God. Wow. You really do.
He does look like
He's got
that from so many people. He got that. And also when he first met Aykroyd and Carrie Fisher, he wasn't doing any kind of cosplay, and they both
lost their mind.
Commented on it. Aykroyd saw him and right away said, "You look like an old friend of mine." That was the first thing that
he's crazy.
Yeah, Carrie Fisher just kept cracking up. She's like, "You look like John." Like just kept dying.
Yeah.
I'm also a big Star Wars guy. I do the Star Wars conventions. I collect a lot of Star Wars autographs. I'm your quintessential nerd. I'm your Renaissance nerd.
I love it.
I got my hands in everything. I play a weekly D&D game. I'm in everything. What? Yeah.
That is crazy. So you
actually a monthly one.
You really wow, man. So this is like an interesting mix of people here. So you've definitely got a lot going on. All kinds of movie stuff, total movie buff. You know, artist. I know that you guys both, I believe, write, but John, a lot of writing, right? I see the piano behind you. Obviously, you said you were in a band. Very interested in that.
I'm in a Staten Island jug band, the Wahoo Skiffle Crazies. Yeah, I actually play the jug. I'm your titular jug player.
And are you in this jug band playing piano or another jug or? Me?
No, I'm not. I'm a fan of the jug band. Music for me is just
my jugs.
I'm not an expert on any instrument. I can fake a few things. It's just more like for my own enjoyment.
Just to play, just for fun.
Just for fun. Yeah, that's it.
So you kind of, again, I'm sure you get this. You kind of look like adult Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, I look like kid Macaulay Culkin too. We're the same age, so my whole life.
Oh, there you go. All right. So probably, picture wise, you probably looked,
similar. Very tired looking adults. Yeah.
Emilio Estevez, he gets a lot.
Yeah, dude. Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
I definitely see that too. Totally. Yes.
I've gotten that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially after he taped that kid's butt cheeks together.
Oh, well.
Definitely.
I mean, if you're Indiana Jonesing around the fucking neighborhood with a whip and a hat, he's got to lean into the keeping butt cheeks together. Come on. You guys could be buddies.
Butt buddies.
Oh, wow. Lots of news. So John, from you obviously guys both were in Impractical Jokers or are in Impractical Jokers and are in that kind of like that universe. The Staten Island connection, obviously. So do you do a lot of the writing in it and producing or because I see you have film credits. There's a couple of things. There's a movie. Oh God. Of course, it's just my thing is out of here. My notes on you. Let me find out.
I mean, I've been on the show, but for the last 6 years now. So since season 5, I've been a writer, producer on the show.
Is that what you prefer to do? I asked the same question to Casey because I was like, do you prefer being on the screen or do you or behind the camera? Like, is there?
Oh, that's a good. I mean, I would think Casey loves being on camera more than I do. I know that for sure.
Well, yeah.
I mean, when I was doing stand up, the goal for me at the time was, I did stand up as a way to get my ideas out there and meet other people in the community. But the whole time I was hoping somebody would think I was funny and they would ask me to write for them because I don't enjoy being in the spotlight. I don't enjoy being on camera. I've done it. And when it goes well, it's one thing, but I do prefer to be behind the scenes. So yeah, most on that show, I'm mostly coming up with all the different things that they're doing on there. And when they throw me on, it's very cool, but oftentimes I don't get to be funny when I'm on the show.
Oh, you'd be a straight guy?
One thing that they kind of, I know one of the things the guys love about me is that it's very hard they can't really break me on camera. I'm very good at keeping a straight face. And on that show, because it's hidden camera and they're dealing with the public, they really like having somebody that can be in the room, play it real. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to ham it up. I'm not trying to steal the spotlight. I'm not trying to be funny. So I'm a good, just straight kind of supporting character, but they make it really hard because it becomes like a challenge for them to try to break me. So there's a bunch of stuff that doesn't make it into the final cut where they're making Emilio Estevez jokes and stuff. I mean, the whole time you're out there, it's very weird because you're kind of half in reality and half out. Like you're in a room with strangers and people, but there's cameras on you. And then in your ear, you hear the guys saying all kinds of crazy stuff and like laughing at you. So it's, right. They're trying to get you. Doing it all the time. I don't do it that often. So it's very hard to talk to somebody while somebody's cackling in your ear.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I can imagine that's distracting.
You. And I've definitely been like rude to people in the room where they think I just ignored them or didn't hear them. But the reality is it's like, I'm listening to one of the guys in the back because I can't do two things at once. I'm not a multitasker. So it's a nightmare.
Now, what about you, Chris? So like, what about you? Are you more of like, you seem to be, for all the reasons that we've already established in the first several minutes of this conversation, you seem to be the guy that's going to be out there, I'm a whore. I wasn't going to say that.
No. All right. So when John and I met, this is like 97.
Yeah.
All right. We didn't meet yet. He had seen a video that through a mutual friend of me and in a Taco Bell dancing to Ghostbusters, is playing the song while I'm pulling down my pants and squirting hot sauce all over my ass. And
with families running out of the room.
Yeah.
We had a mutual friend that saw, I was doing stuff on public access, and a mutual friend of ours saw that, and immediately he came to me and he handed me a tape and was like, my friend does stuff too. You should get him on television.
Wait, hold up real quick. Do you think that family saw Ghostbusters Afterlife and they were like, remember that?
Oh, they definitely. Of course they did.
Ghostbusters for that family.
I ruined Ghostbusters for them.
Yes. Yes, and Taco Bell. Both.
And Taco Bell. Well, Taco Bell ruined itself. Let's get that straight.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Taco Bell's not exactly the quality. I mean, I would never kind of classify it as a quality establishment, but they did. No, it does seem like it's going downhill, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's
bummer.
Mop water Mountain Dew.
The first time I saw Chris was on VHS.
Yeah. And then, we hit it off, but it was more like he wanted to be behind the camera and me in front of the camera, and that worked. But then I would get him out sometimes. He'd be wearing a mask. He'd be doing very small bit parts. And then, at some point I broke his hole, and he's, and we started doing more like partnership sketch comedy stuff.
It's always that wonderful time when you break your friend's hole. That's
I know, right?
Magical time, that magical moment. When it occurs.
Magical broken hole.
It's interesting because in a similar way, I started. So I did broadcasting before, and I loved it. And then I got into what you would consider to be like your traditional type normal job stuff. And I kind of and Kevin and I have been in bands for like our whole life, but we were in a band together for like 17 years.
What band? What kind of stuff?
Hip hop, fusion hip hop. So it's like
no shit, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Like it's the age old story. We were in a band, we got a record deal, but we broke up, and then we got back together. The redemption story, and played some more music together, but we were too old. So but we enjoy, and we got we've got music on iTunes and stuff like that you can check out, and but when the pandemic hit, I had been like wanting to get back into doing something like this where I'd be able to talk to people, and I just missed that element of being able to connect with people and
totally
and make each other laugh. Like so, I dragged him into it and then broke his hole, and now years later, we're still doing it. You guys have been doing it for a while. Like, are you guys 3 or 4 years into Super Live?
Oh no! Try like 9.
We're going on
9.
9, yeah.
I could have sworn that I saw season 3 when I was.
Oh yeah, it's season 3.
What the hell is that? Is you have fucking 4-year long seasons? What's going on?
Our regular listeners will appreciate that. So the season 1 is how many episodes, Chris?
300 episodes.
Do you do one every day? Jesus Christ.
Pretty much. You can now listen to us once a day. If you can put all of our
magnificent
combined recordings right now with specials. Hell, if you want to add our Patreon group.
Oh, I will put.
Club,
trust me.
You want to put.
You will see all this stuff. I always promote the shit out of the people that.
Thank you. No, I don't even mean that. I mean, like, if you add in also the little Chub Club.
Oh, the Patreon stuff that you've done.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you could like
episodes now. Yeah, there's a lot of content out there.
You could listen to us every day for over a year now if you want to. It's insanity. That's
amazing. Now,
I appreciate the plug stuff too. I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah. We never thought about doing seasons, and then it was actually the pandemic where it almost like killed the show because we never did it remotely. We never did it over.
Yeah.
Chris works in a hospital. We weren't getting together, and we were trying to do the online stuff, and we were having all kinds of technical issues. So we took like a long break, and we finally decided, like, yeah, that's the opportunity to do like a new season. And I would tell any new listener to listen to the most recent episode or listen to like, season 2. Season 2 is really like kind of at the start of that pandemic stuff where we started figuring things out, and I'll always have a lot of love.
300 episodes is when we figured it out.
Yes, we figured it out, guys.
When we broke that hole, guys.
Another hole broken. Many broken holes.
I think Chris would agree. It's like it's a different show.
No, it's a different show.
Why would you say it's different?
It's definitely more structured and planned out. I mean, we would have very long, rambling episodes, and
even from inception, it's called Super Live Adventure because every episode was live.
Yeah,
at a bar Sal Volcano owned. We would hang out there and talk live in front of a group of people. We'd be like on a stage in a bar,
right?
And it was we would record for like nights and not even put out episodes. We just banked episodes and like released them like 6 months later. It was more like a live show type of a thing.
Yeah, there was no real plan for it. Where now we kind of like I feel like we have it figured out.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You were saying something.
No, it's fine. It was a very organic thing for us. That's all.
Yeah. For me, like I had to start because again, I come with a background of doing radio prior to doing this. And I have OCD, so I had to have structure, or I would have lost my fucking mind. Like I had to have
I get it.
So we have segmented bits. So we have everything is segmented. Like we've got specific like. I don't want to call it signature bits because mostly of anything that you do is someone else is doing it too or has done it. But the one thing that I'm most proud of, we have something called the topic randomizer, and it's basically just this. It's a wheel that you spin, and then it makes you do and say horrible things or remember horrible things about your past. Like it's embarrassing as shit, dude. Like it's dredged up so many terrible things that I thought that I forgotten in childhood. It's like the worst kind of therapy you've ever had in your life. It's pretty bad. And we dread it. We're like, can we just skip it this week? We don't want to have to do it, but we always we have drafts for things and stuff like that. So you say structure.
I like the commitment.
Yeah, well, we just like I like to have like things to be able to talk about because we like to be able to bounce things back and forth. But you guys mentioned structure too. Like one of the things that I saw that you guys had was something called the Chubby Awards. What are the Chubbies? Tell me about the Chubbies.
We did it once. We did it for the 200th episode, and it was we let our Patreon group kind of vote for different categories, and it was like the best guest,
the
sexiest guest.
Sexiest guest. Yeah, we had all these different categories, and it wasn't the plan, but we did it live at a comic book shop on Staten Island, JHU on Staten Island, and it ended up being more of like a roast of the show.
Yeah,
that's great.
It was really great. I mean, it was Chris and I got to kind of just like hang back and let people like Tim Duffy and Jay Miller and Laura Williams, who does the show with us, like a bunch of people come on and just like Chris Vert, regulars on our show just kind of came on, and they were sort of presenters of the awards, but it ended up being more of a roast without calling it a roast, and it was great. We made like really nice awards for that too.
Oh, yeah, they were bells. No, this is
we gave ourselves right. We got
the drunkiest.
We got drunk.
For the first 200 episodes. Yeah, we sometimes get real out of sorts.
Yeah, real drunk, real fucked up. Yeah.
Used to more. I mean, that was
used to more. But
regular. Talk about those early episodes. They all ended the same way.
funny. There's like a funny thing that happens on some of our shows, not all of them, but some of them, where like this guy and I will get together and we're together like 6 hours bullshitting, but we only recorded 45 minutes of it. So there are times like we're talking and it's like, I gotta take a piss, I'll be right back, and you're like, like all of a sudden you come back just smashed.
That's
and
great.
Listeners like, what
happened? What did you do? You have like a fucking? Do you doing keg stands in your bathroom? What's going on?
Pretty much, yeah. Well, one of our sponsors
into like 2 hours of us hanging out.
Yeah, with just
right.
It's the whole
like
night
forward in time.
That's fantastic.
One of our sponsors, DarthDabs.com. They send us bongs on the regular and like,
hell yeah, dude.
So like it's encouraged. That's what we ring a bell every time we have a new beer or new drink. We ring a bell, and it was originally so listeners could like drink along with us.
With you, right?
And also, I said, we were recording live at a bar. It was kind of like call a new drink in, ring the bell, and the bartender would ring it up.
And they'll bring it,
It was also letting the listeners know, because the bartender would keep filling our drink in those early episodes, and there was nobody, and it was just we would fall apart. So for the listeners, when you heard the bell ring like 10 times, you knew what was happening.
Dude, sometimes it's like a Ukrainian Christmas carol. It's just nothing but bells. You're like, this is nuts.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's funny too when you do get that, and I've only had, I mean, because we get down on the show too, but like, there's only been a couple of times where I've completely derailed, and you just like, I remember we were drafting I can't remember where we were drafting, and I drafted I just drafted Steve. There was no Steve. I just drafted Steve. Like, Steve? Who the fuck is Steve? I'm like, I don't know, Steve. It came
Sounds like a good guy to me.
Yeah, Steve's all right. Why he deserves to be drafted? Fuck you, man. Like,
fuck it.
Yeah, why not? Steve.
No, our show, I mean, it used to be a lot sloppier, but we've reined it in.
Yeah.
I'm like on a 2-month break from smoking in general. We kind of have rules about drinking now, and it's there's rules to the show. Not even like things we really talk about, right, Chris? But like, even for you, it's smoking. It's like we try to get the first half hour. We try to just kind of improvise a conversation with each other.
Yeah, that's basically
time. And
that's
then
the structure right there.
we have listeners now that call every week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually the time to smoke is when we jump to the voicemails. That's when it's kind of like, okay, because now there's something to kind of bounce off of, and
right, because they're gonna give you like something to talk about. They have a question or something like that. You guys can riff on it and discuss accordingly.
There are like weird, sort of unwritten rules that we have now to the show. That's where it's a little.
Also, that second half so like you're talking about structure. That's literally the structure. It's like, all right, first fucking half or whatever, we just bullshit. We don't really. If we come in with something, it's like he'll text me, I'll text him, like, oh my God, I got something so funny to tell you. I'll wait for the show.
But
like, we don't go in planned.
And we don't listen to the voicemails in advance either. Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, you just getting it cold, so you guys aren't.
Everything's
improv.
For it. Yeah.
That's good.
It's better that way.
Yeah, I feel like that too. Like, I don't like I'll put myself, like, especially for like the things that we're doing. Like, sometimes you have to like at least see something. So as an example, one of the bits that we have on the show is called Headlines, where it's basically clickbait, and without clicking into it, we have to just basically speculate on what the headline could possibly be about. But
that's we kind of do that.
Like I said, like these are all
the movie reviews.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we have a listener, a member of the Little Chub Club, Little Eddie. He calls in and gives his movie review. He just says, he'll say the title, so whatever, Ghostbusters Afterlife,
right?
And he either says, I liked it or I didn't like it, but it's in the inflection. It's the way
the inflection, the way he says it.
It could be like, I liked it, or I liked it. That is all. That's the whole review. But the thing is too, he strives to see every single movie, every like Academy Awards. He sees every movie, like down to like best, best puppets, like whatever bullshit.
Yeah. No, when it comes, that's true. The Academy Awards, he sees every single movie nominated. So foreign film, animated short, like
the whole thing.
He goes on a mission.
He sees all of it. So he's the guy.
Yeah.
And listeners have come to really trust his reviews.
His reviews are solid.
Because I liked it or I didn't like it.
But he'll call in with these movies you have never heard of, and we do the same thing. It's like, that one, that's about that Russian scientist. We'll just go off on a whole thing.
It's great. Just something to like kind of again, just like the voicemails, like you said, something to jump off on where you guys could just go.
Yeah. So you could get a little stoned for that. Also, we in between that, sometimes we'll do an advertisement for one of our sponsors, eggdumpsoup.com.
We say egg what?
Eggdumpsoup.com.
Oh, right on. Egg dump soup.
Mysterious.
We don't really explain it on the show anymore.
Yeah. I got questions. I don't know what the hell is egg dump soup.
I don't even remember how far back it goes, but it was something we made up on an episode, and then we kind of just said to the listeners, like, if anybody buys that domain,
we'll plug it for
plug that website till the end of time, whatever.
Yeah.
And a guy did.
No way.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's barely a website, but we gave our word. So every single episode we get to promote eggdumpsuit.com, which if you go to it, there's like really almost nothing to it. You can't do anything. You can't buy anything.
No.
It must be so.
It's like a GeoCities account.
They're like, what the fuck is this? How can I support you? I don't know what this is supposed to be. I have to buy something.
It's not.
Well, we said we were going to do it, and it's we
do it.
I appreciate the commitment.
On the Digging in the Dome podcast, we support organizations and people who work to make the world a better place. One of our favorite guests, unofficial third mic and good friend, DJ Bonix, has made the move out to Las Vegas to continue his amazing music career. When he isn't touring around the world with Wiz Khalifa, he is helping the patrons of Hardin Premium Cannabis Dispensary. Located at 2900 East Desert Inn Road, Hardin is just a few minutes away from the Vegas Strip and was voted the best dispensary in Las Vegas. This exquisite, world-class dispensary offers top-shelf customer service and a wide selection of the highest quality cannabis products to choose from. Hardin is the place to see and be seen in Las Vegas. It's a place where high-profile celebrities, Las Vegas locals, and many tourists convene together to get the VIP treatment. VIP as in very indulgent pot smoker. I just made that up. Take that, every improv troupe that rejected me because I was too short. What did that even mean? Anyway, go to HardinLasVegas.com, check them out, follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Hardin Vegas, that's JARDIN Vegas, or on Twitter at Hardin_Las Vegas. And obviously, go visit their store located at 2900 East Desert Inn Road in Las Vegas to see their amazing selection and support our pal and third mic, DJ Bonix. Make sure you tell him Digging in the Dome sent you. Hardin Premium Cannabis, the finest cannabis establishment in Las Vegas. All right, now let's get back to the show.
We just bust one out, mostly improvised, but some of them we'll actually produce. Well, we'll do like an actual like song. Like John will play and like we're usually both singing. Sometimes he'll sing, sometimes I'll sing, sometimes we're singing together. It's completely insane stuff.
That's great.
It's funny. Yeah.
So now you mentioned, John, you mentioned stand up. Like, so you did stand up or do stand up. Which are you done? Like, you mentioned not being in front of the camera, which I would assume that also means like getting in front of crowds maybe is not necessarily your favorite thing in the world to do, but sometimes people are weird like that. Some people that I've talked to or that we've talked to, I should say, have said, like getting in the camera, to your point, like I can't kind of be natural. Being on stage is way more natural for people and they like it better. And I think Jiggy was saying something like that when we were talking to him.
I agree with that. I mean, I definitely would rather get on stage. I'd rather be in a live situation than have a camera on me for sure. But even that was something that I mean, and Chris can vouch for this. I used to I was like physically ill before every live performance. There was, as a rule, I wouldn't eat till I performed, and then I would be starving after because I used to get sick. I'd be backstage.
Yeah.
Literally like vomiting in a bathroom.
Wow.
It was like a thing that I had to kind of force myself to do and overcome. I mean, I wrote stand up when I was like 20 and I didn't perform it until I was 26. Like I just sat on it I had all this anxiety. It is something that I love, and I've been craving it now. And like during the pandemic, it's been hard. You know, the short version of the story is like I've been on Jokers for 6 years. Mm-hmm. My son is about to turn 5, so like I kind of got that job, and then had a kid, and then had another kid. And if I was doing stand up every night, I just wouldn't see my kids. Right. But I justified it because I was like, well, I'm doing comedy during the day. I do the podcast once a week, and that's enough. It's been harder to make the show during this time. You know, a hidden camera show during a pandemic is extremely difficult.
Yes, you have hidden people. You have no one to there's no people around.
It's hard. Yeah. And so I've done some stand up, but not a lot. And I think about getting back into it. And but also, you know, my kids are at an age where they can't get vaccinated, and everything is it's a little bit trickier right now, but that's something that I think especially if and when Jokers comes to an end or I'm not involved with it anymore, I definitely want to get on stage more, because it's just it's the best way to kind of get my thoughts out there and get an immediate response. And I do a lot of writing on stage. I don't really write my stand-up out. I kind of have bullet points of things I want to talk about. Mm-hmm. And the only way I really know how to work is to bounce stuff off other people. So with stand-up, it's off an audience. Mm-hmm. With Jokers, it's off the writer's room. With the podcast, and before the podcast, we used to do sketch. It was bouncing things off this guy. Yeah. Like that's how I like to work. I don't work very well in a vacuum.
That makes sense.
A lot of what we do is in a vacuum. It's very remote and stuff. So it's been a little tricky for me. But yeah, I want to get on stage again more.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I'm guessing you are so busy playing the jugs, and you're not. Chris isn't getting on stage and doing any kind of.
No, I was for a little bit with my buddy Chris O'Brien. He was doing a show, Ghost Stories out of Richmond Town. Ooh. So I was doing that. You know Mike Bichetti? Ever hear Mike Bichetti?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I was doing it with him.
He's great.
Yeah, so like I would come on and play like a weird character. I'm more like I'm more like improv, do a character. I'm not like a stand-up dude. Right. But like, I'll come in and do something weird. I was doing that, and then like up until February of 2020, and then boom, it all got everything got shut down. But once the pandemic started, and I needed like to occupy my kids, I kind of wanted to show them something. We started doing a weird YouTube show called Fart Party. It's it's like bad movie reviews.
I love it.
Like strange sketch comedy, but like with a dad and his 2 kids. So it's great. It's completely clean. But it's really bizarre and strange. And we just watch bad movies and do like little skits and talk about it. It's real weird.
That's awesome. Weird. You're teaching them young to like be creative and funny, and that's really important. Yeah,
well, yes, I like to shoot. Like, when John and I met, we were both kind of like into like this video and film production, and then that's what we went on to go to college for, and we started taking a lot of classes together, and that's kind of when we started dating. But we were sexy.
It was college for us.
Yeah, we were courting each other. Yes. No, but like I started showing that to my kids, because like my kids are not, look at their last name Sorrentino, they're not playing basketball. They're not like, you know what I mean? Like they're not good. Like let me show you how to do this. They got little stubby hands, not playing guitars. Like, it's like
do that or making pizzas. One of the two. Like that's they can make a pizza or I can make the shit out of a pizza, by the way. I'm sure you probably got the skills too. It's in the DNA. You gotta.
Well, I really have one kid who doesn't eat pizza. Doesn't like it. Does not like any kind of sauce.
That's bananas. Why?
No.
Like, do you try to like, what's up, man? Like, do you talk like? They just say that I don't like it. Like,
he's the pickiest eater I've ever met.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. And the other kid will eat anything. He's great.
No, he doesn't care. He'll eat the pizza off the floor. Like.
I think when you have 2 kids, it's kind of like that. I got one that's a picky eater and one that's not. Like, but. We kind of made headway with my oldest one is the pickier eater. I would say.
Yeah, that's how this is. What's your secret? What's your secret?
Well, there was no secret to it. I just just slowly reintroduce things. Like just try this, and because she's 14, it's immediately no, because everything is no. But then like
this guy's 12. It's kind of
Oh, he's on the precipice, man. Like
the other day we were out to breakfast, and she's like, "Let me try that bacon." I was like, because she never.
Oh, really?
Got down on bacon.
All right.
Never. Now it's like bacon. Like,
yeah.
she ate a plate of bacon on Sunday, and I'm not fucking kidding. Like an entire plate of it. She just crushed it. Yeah, bad for her cholesterol, but I'm happy that she likes bacon now.
Yeah. Wow, could you imagine going that long without bacon and finally discovering how good it is?
What was I thinking?
I need a
she
plate
said it. She's like, "This is delicious." I'm like, "I told you. Why the fuck didn't you just listen to me in the first place?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about your kids? Are they pretty good eaters, or John? Are your kids?
My kids, yeah. My daughter is she doesn't really like vegetables. My son he loves to eat. He's great. He doesn't like. He doesn't want eggs, and he's not really into cheese.
Okay.
He'll come around on, but it's also like, all right, if that's the stuff you're not eating, it's fine, because he'll tell people his favorite vegetable is kale, and he's 4 years old.
Wow.
So I'm like, you're fine. Like if you don't want to eat cheese and you want to eat kale, I'm not gonna.
Way better for him. Yeah.
And his sister, the 2-year-old, she loves seafood.
Oh,
like
no kidding. That's great.
If I get sushi and I get like the cooked stuff, like eel and stuff like
yeah,
she goes nuts for it.
That's awesome.
So that's like our thing together. She's crazy about seafood. So yeah, I'm very lucky that so far my kids are pretty good. My daughter can get better with the vegetables, but otherwise I think she'll come around. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just from because I got to ask, I got to go back to the insane dungeon that's behind Chris. Yeah. Like so if you had to pick like a top 3 of your favorite movies, which is going to be hard for someone like you, who's got obviously like goes deep on movies. What are your top 3 favorite? Not in any particular order, because I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah, top 3 is hard. It's definitely good. It's definitely
Ghostbusters. I feel like I could answer this for you. I want to see if
Ghostbusters, Caddyshack. That third slot's the third slot's the tricky one.
You're gonna mess them up because you got like
Blues Brothers and Empire and Raiders and Jaws and Back to the Future and Gremlins. Like there's like solid favorites. That third one is where I have a problem.
Yeah,
but I think like the movies I've watched the most in my life, are probably Ghostbusters and Caddyshack. Like those are my comfort movies.
Yeah, they're 2 go-tos forever, and if it's on, you're not turning it off.
No,
it sounds like, but like not like, because I think about that time period, and I'm a movie guy too. Like I think of like The Godfather, Goodfellas, like movie. I mean, Goodfellas is maybe a little bit later, but like those kinds of movies when they're on, that's it. That's 3 hours gone. I'm done.
Yeah, I know. Scarface.
Forget it. Yeah. I'm not turning that off.
It stays on. No, it's weird. It's weird. It's weird because, all right, my guys, 10 and 12, big Simpsons fans.
All right.
And I want to introduce them to Goodfellas. Now, hear me out. I'm only thinking this because you brought up. They've seen crazy shit. Like, but I train them in film, like watching, like who watch Pulp Fiction recently.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like we just watched Joker. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so they've watched heavy shit. So, but because of The Simpsons, I was like, there's a lot of Goodfellas references.
Oh my God, a ton.
The Simpsons. Yeah. And I want them to see that. And then I want to follow it up. I want to watch. It's always 2 movies. I want to follow up Goodfellas with My Blue Heaven.
Oh, so good.
It's the same. It's the
Steve Martin and Rick Moranis.
It's the same, but it's the same. So it's the same story of Henry Hill. Continued.
It's just like different. Now he's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And the writer. I mean, you got the husband and wife. Like it's the writers are like.
Yeah, the writer of the book.
Yeah,
wrote
Goodfellas. His wife wrote My Blue Heaven. Yeah.
It's like, nuts. I mean, like, what a great iconic classic movie, and what a great movie to show your kids. It's so funny. Steve Martin is so good in that movie.
Oh, he's so amazing.
So funny in that movie. Maybe one of my favorite performances. He's so funny.
My older son, he's a big He's a big Steve Martin fan. We're watching Only Murders in the Building right now.
I just started watching that. What do you think of it?
It's I love it, man. I'm almost done. I think there's 2 episodes left, but like him and my wife watched that thing.
You haven't seen it yet?
Dude, you would love it.
It's really good. Dude,
nuts.
So so real quick, just the first episode, something, and this is what made me fall instantaneously in love with the show. This is literally like 2 minutes in.
He's getting better.
Yeah. So Steve Martin's walking down the street. Steve Martin is
Brazos.
Brazos. Brazos is a detective, a TV
He's like
detective.
a Columbo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's walking down the street and he runs into these 2 people, like these 2 younger people, and they're like, Brazos. And he's like, oh, hey. And he's like, my dad is in hospice, is like a huge fan of yours. Like, such a shitty thing to say. And then he's like, oh, that's great. He's like, oh my God, he's going to go nuts when he found out that we met. And he's like, great. He's like, do you want a picture? He's like, sure. And he hands him the camera to take a picture of them 2, not with him. Like, I'm in. I'm in. That's so great.
Dude, it's so
the look of disappointment on his face is so funny.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, I see. Never mind. I thought you wanted my picture. Great.
It's fucking great.
So what about
Steve Martin's insane.
What about your kids, John? I mean, they're too young to like really give a shit about anything, maybe, but like some weird kid shows, right? They're like,
yeah. I mean, you know what's cool is that like my kids, they're aware of the fact that I'm obsessed with things like Spider-Man and Star Wars and stuff. Mm-hmm. So like, they've got a lot of the toys and stuff, and my son will ask me a ton of questions about that stuff. So what's crazy is that like we were playing with it. We have a Star Wars Advent, like a Star Wars Lego Advent calendar.
Oh wow!
Where we do like a Lego every day, and he's asking me what they are, and it's crazy to like play Star Wars with my kid who only knows stuff from like what I've told him and some books, and like making. So we're already playing like in that world, even though he hasn't seen the movies yet. And then with Spider-Man, there's the show Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah.
And he's like crazy about that. So it's, and I don't know, a lot of it comes from books and stuff right now. And I'm like trying to wait for the right time to show him, you know, like the real stuff. But I also, it's cool that we have all these like age appropriate options now that I definitely didn't have. So we're kind of like, I don't know, we're pacing ourselves over here.
Sure.
But, and I also don't want to
dive deep into Goodfellas and Pulp Fiction like this guy. He's going right for the jugular.
For the jugular, exactly, brother. Exactly.
I love it.
His kids were older. I'm like, yeah, and I don't want to force things on my kids because everything my dad tried to force on me, I hate. You know what I mean?
Right,
so
exactly. You don't want to get into that.
I have my stuff, and it's like I let them come to me, and they're kind of like, "What's that?" You know, and if they ask, then I tell them. So that's like movies and TVs and music and stuff.
Exactly. Well, that's also
and ask about it. Yeah.
And it's also, it has to do with being a cool dad. Like, because my dad was never cool about the things he was into. It was never like, oh yeah, let me tell you about it. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just like, that's Don Mattingly. Shut up. I'm like, oh fuck. All right.
You're like, sorry.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, he didn't really invite me in. Like,
yeah, it's like he didn't want you to.
Yeah, you got to have an open mind about the stuff they get into. Like my kids have their own shows and stuff, and instead of just me like shutting that stuff out, like I'm learning about Paw Patrol and My Little Pony, and like there's like things that my kids are into that I'm kind of like I try to support that stuff too. I don't just want to push my.
Yeah.
You know you're good with showing your kids music. This guy's always like
showing them different
music.
Yeah. I try to. My son both my kids actually love AC/DC, which is funny. I'm not a huge AC/DC guy, but like it just struck a chord with them at this age.
It's weird, man.
All the time, and I'm like, all right, fine.
When my daughter was, I used to coach my daughter's basketball team when she was still playing basketball, my 14-year-old. And when we would go to practice or games, she'd want me to put on like hard metal, like metal.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess this just fires her up. I don't know. She was just into it, really? And now she's into like Japanimation, like anime kind of like stuff, like just really into it. And I'm like, yeah, look, man, different strokes and it's all interesting and cool. Like, and so Chris, you're an artist. You do drawing. You mentioned, and I'm guessing that all the artwork that I'm seeing like on your podcast is yours, right? Is that?
Yeah.
I assumed as much. So we talked about this with Casey too, about getting into comic books or being into comic books. Are you guys both into comic books or not?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something we shared. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, when like we're not currently like read every episode, read every issue of Spider-Man that comes out now. Like we used to really be those guys. Honestly, like I kind of fell out of love with traditional comic books. I used to, up until maybe like 5 years ago, or I was reading maybe like 4 years ago, I was reading like everything. Like I was reading like all the main DC and Marvel titles, and I don't know, I fell out of love with it.
Why do you think that? Did something change with the writing or something like that? Because I read a lot of comic books too. Like I'm just curious.
Oh, okay. So I stopped. Oh God, like I kind of stopped when they were doing the. Are you a DC guy?
I mean, I vastly both. Like, I like Batman comics.
Remember when they're doing Batman? Then they're doing like the Man Who Laughed.
Oh, the Batman Who Laughed and like the dark metal one.
That's kind of when I fell out.
You're like,
I don't know.
I can't.
Yeah, but just to give you, that's not the reason. Just give you a time period. I'm trying to think of like things that were going on
4 or 5 years ago. And then Marvel, Marvel
was it was just a bunch of different Avengers books. It was like because of the movies, it was like 6 Avengers books. There was like the all-girl Avenger team, then a young Avenger team. Yeah. Like young Kang and like all that shit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know. It just was like shitty. It just the writing just felt like it was in a rut. Not that it was bad, it just wasn't going anywhere. And I was like, this has nothing left to offer me. And I cold turkey dropped it. That's not to say I don't read other books. Like I honestly haven't read anything that much like newer stuff recently. I read through Paper Girls again.
Oh yeah,
Paper Girls, Brian K. Vaughan's.
Yep.
Reading like a bunch of the old He-Man comics that came with the toys, like that big compilation. The IDW Ghostbusters series, the IDW Turtle series. But like mainstream, I just fell completely out.
You're like, I'm not doing it anymore. Yeah. What about you? What about you, John? Are you not?
Yeah, I'd like to get back in. I mean,
young kids.
I was a big Spider-Man guy, and this is a long time ago now. But like the brand new day,
Krasinski.
Yeah, the brand new day storyline where he kind of made a deal with the devil and reset things, which now we're seeing. I'm excited for the new movie, and it seems like obviously there's elements
of that in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hated One More Day.
But I got really upset because I was excited about just because you have decades of the same kind of story. I liked the Peter Parker that was kind of darker, and suddenly like people knew his identity, and he was kind of on the run, and it was like to me they set it up for this really interesting thing, and then they just kind of like reset it, and he was back to like. Trying to get home in time for dinner with Aunt May. And I'm like, I've read this so much. So I kind of fell off then. And I think a lot of it is also just like life and work and having kids and stuff where I didn't have as much time. But, I was reading Walking Dead until that finished. And I love the fact that they wrapped that up without telling anybody it was going to be the last issue. That was one of the cool, like, it was so nice to read something not knowing that.
It was good.
Even when you see a finale of a TV show, it's the finale, and you see like, that you have 20 minutes left, 15 minutes left, 10 minutes left. It was nice just to read a book and then go, oh, holy shit, this was it. They wrapped it up. That was cool. I really love Chew.
Yes, Chew. Oh, that's a great one. What a really weird,
so weird and so funny. And I love the art, and so I'll now it's kind of more. I'm definitely looking for like the next thing. A lot of the things that I found have wrapped up, and I'd like to dive back into Marvel and Spider-Man. And I'd be curious to see what it's like to just kind of pick up an issue again.
Are you current with it? Like, is this still like when I left Spider-Man, he was like in charge of Parker Industries and had his doctor. It was after like he was Doc Ock. Well, Doc Ock was him for a while, and like
I missed
got super rich and blew up his life. And, like,
I missed all that. I feel like I've always left at the right. Even as a kid,
when I left, I was like, oof.
I love the You want to go way back, like the Maximum Carnage series. I love.
Great, man.
And then after that, I just as a kid, I had like I really didn't have money as a kid for comics, and I stopped reading it. And then I went back to see like what happened after Maximum Carnage, and I was like, oh, I picked a really good time to check out. I I read this really cool series, and then I like missed the whole Clone Saga and all that stuff.
You know what you and I have to do? We got to watch their Venom movies. We didn't see
I know
either Venoms,
and I think
you saw neither of them.
Spider-Man,
really?
possibly.
Neither Venoms.
Yeah, I haven't seen it at all, and I love.
Got to sit down and watch those.
I loved Venom, but I didn't love what Sam Raimi did with it. And to be fair, I don't think he wanted to do a Venom movie.
Do you remember? All right, so we have a friend that works at Marvel. We actually have a couple friends, but one friend in particular, she scored us tickets to Spider-Man 3 premiere. So this is what 2006 or something like that.
A while ago, yeah.
And we were like, "Holy shit!" And it wasn't like the movie star premiere. It was the comics creator premiere. So we're in the room. Like Joe Quesada got up and said a whole thing.
Wow.
So, it was like. Dude, everybody in Marvel Comics, and we were like, yeah, Spider-Man 3. We loved Spider-Man. We loved Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 3. And then we were like,
you're like, God damn it. Son of a bitch.
So mad.
It was terrible.
And she was upset. She took us because we didn't like it.
Yeah.
That's great.
We saw it in the best possible way, and we hated it.
It was terrible. That movie stunk.
Yeah, that movie's
it was really bad. I would suggest if you were gonna one that I got into that I really liked was called East of West. If you've never heard that one before,
I've heard of it. It's is that
really
Remender?
Yeah.
Right. I like Remender. I like Tokyo Ghost a lot.
Yeah.
What else did he wrote? His Avengers was dope.
Oh yeah.
His Avengers was awesome. Once he was off Avengers, I didn't like it. But Remender was great. His Kang stuff was out of the fucking the ballpark, man.
Yeah. It's incredible. Did you get a chance to do you watch any of the shows?
Oh yeah, I'm up
like
to
Loki
date.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
You guys like Loki? I thought that was pretty well done.
I dug it.
Great. Yeah.
I've been liking everything. Yeah, we've seen the Spider-Man this Friday. The whole it's actually a thing with the family. We watch every series, every movie in the movie theater.
Go back to back to back.
Yeah. Like we watch. My wife is huge into it. It was a weird thing.
Really?
She would watch here and there with us, and then I think before Endgame, she was like, "Let me watch all of this to get the context," because she's very my wife's very big into like Doctor Who and like Fringe and Law. Like she's
okay, so she's
into So she's like, let me give it a shot. Let me watch everything. So she consumed all of it. And she was like, this is fucking awesome. So we watch everything as a family. So every episode that comes out, we actually like Hawkeye, Wednesday.
So great.
It actually started, it was triple W's. It was WandaVision, Wednesdays, and I'd grab Wendy's. And we'd eat together as a family, have dinner. And hey, all right.
All right. Yeah. So what's the selection of Wendy's that you would what's your go-to Wendy's meal?
Oh man, jalapeno popper chicken sandwich.
Oh,
large fries and a large chili, and I dump that fucking chili right on the fries.
Oh my God, your shits must be unbelievable.
Oh, they're terrible. And you know, let me not let you guys in on a little secret. Wendy's chili. It's just old hamburgers.
That is the secret.
Oh my God, it's just diarrhea fuel.
The only thing you're missing from that is whiskey, and then you clean yourself out. That's homemade Roto-Rooter for your insides.
That's a 4W night.
Yeah, wiping for a long time afterwards.
Oh yeah.
So what about you? You seem like a healthy guy, John. Are you a Wendy's dude, or are you a?
No,
he's terrible.
Not a healthy guy at all. No, Wendy's. I mean, you know, it's the thing that Chris doesn't share with me as much as he loves fast food. I still get the McDonald's cravings. If there's a McDonald's. Buddy,
breakfast. I'll give you breakfast. I'll take a McDonald's breakfast.
My buddy Mark texted me because the McRib was back, and I was like. Dude, I was like, I get excited every time, and it's fucking terrible every time. And then
why you keep going back to it, man?
And I still I've been craving one since he texted me. There's something about it. I don't know what it is, but yeah. And then I'm glad I'm in New Jersey now, but when I was living on Staten Island, my house was right near a White Castle and a Checkers.
Oh wow!
It was late nights of coming home after a gig or something like that. Pulling onto my block,
it's crushing it.
Turn onto my block, or just drive straight for another 2. Like I would see the light before that turn, and I would give in so many times. I told Chris I stopped going to Checkers when the girl at the drive-thru was like, "You come here a lot," and I was.
You're like, oh shit! Like, oh, I got a problem.
Dude, I felt terrible, and I was like, I didn't get back for a long.
He had his own nickname for a burger. He used to call a burger the dirty diaper.
The dirty what?
Yeah, the chili cheeseburger. I call it a dirty diaper. It feels like a dirty diaper.
Because heavy. Yeah.
It's a heavy load in a bag.
Like, oh god.
I thought you were saying I had a nickname. I had a nickname at a Chinese food restaurant. They called me extra pancakes at a Chinese food.
They called you what? Scallion pancakes? What?
They called me extra pancakes. I used
extra
to get
pancakes
work all the time, and I would come in and they would go extra pancakes, and I would go yeah. And then one time I didn't order mushu pork. I got something else, and I came in and the lady was like extra pancakes, and I was like, oh fuck, that's my
that's you. You are extra pancakes. Oh, do you think extra pancakes is going to come in?
Yeah, if you go to Mandarin House and I'm extra pancakes.
I had a guy the Japanese place in the Staten Island Mall. I don't know if it was my nickname or he just would say it because I was fat every time. But like if I would order something, like I ordered a teriyaki chicken or whatever, and you go double meat. I go yeah.
You're like
every time. He go double meat. He'd get me every time. Yeah,
like,
I'm double.
Just put it on there. You know I'm going to order it. Stop asking me.
Double.
You're embarrassing me.
Double meat.
Should be shamed.
That should be our. Why do we not use those names?
Oh shit!
More pancakes and double meat.
Extra pancakes.
Yeah. Extra pancakes and double
extra
meat.
Pancakes and double meat.
Look at that dynamic duo, you two.
Yeah, it's like an IHOP number 4 or something.
We used to so horribly, man. When we were young, in our 20s, we had the podcast used to have a third host, and I remember one time we were ordering
for like 60 episodes.
I was ordering pizza from Papa John's for the 3 of us,
mm-hmm.
and it was our buddy Brian was there with Chris, and they were like, "Order 3 pies," and I was like, "Guys, it's just the 3 of us."
Pies, god damn!
And our friend Brian was like, "Do you want any pizza?" And I said, 3 pies.
Like these 2 are accounted for. The third pie.
I would have like 6 slices. I was the healthy one.
Dude. Yeah. Garlic dipping sauce and all, right?
Oh, God, all of that. I don't know how we did it. It was crazy. That would ruin my week now.
You know what sucks? We live on Staten Island, and it's the best pizza you could ever have. Outer Borough pizza is the best pizza. Pizza from Brooklyn, pizza from Staten Island. Yeah. That's where you want to get your pizza in New York.
Yep.
And we're ordering Papa John's. Fucking John's.
I mean, was it a cost thing, or were you just
no? It was just a new thing in the neighborhood.
Oh, Papa John's.
It's right by our college. Yeah.
It was new. It was the dipping sauces. It was the hot peppers they threw in the box.
We were owners of racist ideologies.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Oh, we kind of did a joke about that with the last egg dump soup commercial. Like, to come to think of it,
that's true.
That's great.
Yeah, we made up a racist term that's not a real racist term.
It sounds pretty.
It sounds racist. I looked it up to make sure it's not a racist term. Towel monkey.
No, yeah, I can't. I can see where you would go with that. Seems like
right.
Yeah,
it seems like it's very racist. Monkey.
We made it up. He means he made it up. I just want to.
Oh, all right. John's trying not to get canceled. I get it.
It's really not, though. If you look it up,
just in case, that's a Chris Sorrentino original. In case it takes off.
You remember that sound? Yeah, you do. The 1990s. It was fun. Lots of fun music, good times. Bookended by pop bands. And right in the middle, we got a little grungy. So many artists came and went and left us wondering, what are they doing now? We know what Marky Mark ended up doing, but what about the rest of the funky bunch? Alanis Morissette had a pop career before she made it big with Jagged Little Pill. The KLF, an EDM band from England, got Tammy Wynette to sing on one of their tunes. All kinds of crazy stuff happened, and we're going to talk to you about it with interviews with some of the biggest stars of the 90s on Dope Nostalgia, the podcast. I'm Naomi Carmack, and I'm your host. Check us out on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you get your podcasts. And look us up on the internet at dopenostalgia.com.
takes off.
Towel monkey either sounds like something racist or something that someone would pitch on Shark Tank. This is the towel monkey.
Yeah. That's what you look it up and it's just like maids at Disney World giving you instructionals how to fold towels into monkeys. Like, you know what I mean?
That's
like
cool.
That type of things.
Yeah, it's a origami thing. What do you guys are the racist. You were the one that was thinking it was bad. I'm just making cool designs for people that come to their hotel room, laying it on their table.
That's it.
Oh, shit. So real quick, another thing I just wanted to ask before we get wrapped up here. Dungeons and Dragons. You said that way early in this conversation. I got to know.
I'm actually in 2 campaigns.
You're in 2 campaigns. Now, when you say dungeon, are you talking about, just for clarity, we're talking about boards, like the Dungeon Master, like screen thing?
Oh, Dungeon Master screens, not really boards, thing. But maps. Like, these are my dice right here. I got a set of ecto-cooler colored dice, my brother.
Oh, man. This Ghostbuster love is real. Look at that. Oh, yeah. There's a 20-sided die in there. See that?
Yeah. So I'm in this one, I'm a Genasi, which is a half human, half genie monk. In this weekly campaign, I play with. It's mostly friends from my band. It's Laura who does this podcast with us like monthly, like once a month. She'll do the podcast with us. She's just weird like that. She wants to go in like it's her fertile week, right?
What?
Yeah. She feels like that's when she's
her best.
When she's ready to have someone drop one in her and.
Yeah, I guess so, right? That would be fertile week. Yeah.
Records an episode.
Oh my God. It's time. The moon is full.
Yeah. Well, she's a witch. We had a cursed object that was ruining John's life that oh man, long story.
Yeah,
but
she some witchcraft. She kind of cleansed.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah, she's totally in tune with all that.
So wait, so these are your guild your guild / jug band is basically your crew and your Dungeons and
Dragons. That's my weekly like in person. It's in my buddy's backyard. He's the DM. He has a tent set up with like one of those like like those heaters in a restaurant.
Yeah, totally.
In the middle, and like 2 long tables set up with 2 doors slung across the other side to make it a table around that. So picture laying 2 tables and then 2 doors crisscross over to make it a square.
Jesus.
Like big like house doors.
Yeah,
and like the heater thing in the middle, and it's in a tent, and we stay warm as fuck. And we just smoke the thing out and fucking play. That's weekly. That's Monday nights. And then once a month on usually on Sundays, the Little Chub Club, our Patreon group, has a an online Zoom D&D.
And then they play there. That's crazy. Man,
bird.
You're not part of this, John? Why are you not like a fucking mage or something, dude?
No, I was part of the last campaign on D&D, and I'm like with our Patreon group, but not this current one. So
no.
I wish I'd like to get back into it. I it's something that I wish my friends were into when I was younger, because it was like right up my alley, but I just didn't meet anybody who was into it. You know what I mean? It was like never exposed to it. Never.
No one was down. They were busy trying to finger girls, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was definitely hanging out with a bunch of like nerds, but just nobody that was into D&D.
Yeah. I mean, I can't. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I was like, both my parents worked and like were never home. So when I was very young, I was in a lot of like latchkey and summer camp. So like, that's kind of where I learned to play all that stuff.
Right.
Was like that, those type of situations. And then once I started hitting more like 13 and stuff, they were like, yeah, just stay home on your own. Like, Yeah. But I spent a lot of time like rolling dice and shit like that in like a cabin at a summer camp. You know what I mean?
It's surprising that you didn't like turn that into like a horrible gambling addiction and like fucking playing craps or something.
That's only vice I don't have. Only vice I don't have. He has
no interest in it. Yeah.
No interest in gambling. I've never been to Vegas. I don't want to go. I don't care about Atlantic City. I went once because my parents, back when I was a kid, took me to see David Copperfield, and that fucking guy flew around like nobody's fucking business. He flew around this whole fucking Caesar's Palace. Like he owned the joint.
Yeah.
Like he was Caesar himself.
He's fucking
like he invented
a real wizard. Like a true wizard.
It was wild. It was fucking wild. But yeah, I'm just not it's weirdly.
Not
I'm
a gambler. What about you, John? No?
A little bit, but I'm more like, I'm more the guy that wants to like play Scrabble.
Yeah,
that's more my speed. Yeah. I'm more like a board game guy. Although living in Jersey, it's weird because I can gamble online now, like for real. And that's really, I got into that a little bit. And the first time I did it was a night where I was like alone. It's like during the pandemic, it was late at night. And I was like a little drunk and I downloaded an app and I actually like won some money. And it was like, then there was like a week where I just like gave it all back and then I had to delete the app. And I was like, I totally understood how it could be. Once it's in there, it's not real anymore, you know?
Right. Exactly. You're like, it's online. This is fake money. No, it's
it's like a video game, but it's crazy. But I was like really enjoying blackjack. That's fun. But I have to set rules. I think it's got to be like at a casino only. The online stuff for me is, it's a slippery slope. I could see how it happened.
You walking away from the table.
Commercials work on you.
What's that? What'd you say?
So those JB Smooth commercials keep working on you. Yeah. Like every other commercial on the radio, it's JB Smooth doing
every online poker. I get emails from all of them, and like I said, you don't have the option where you are, but like, I can download any of those, and they'll like when you install one for the first time, they'll match you up to a certain point. So it could be like, put in $500 of your own and they'll match it. And you're like, well, now I have $1,000 to play with. And that's what I did the first time. And I had rules about like, well, when I get down to 500, I'll stop. And I won. And eventually you give it all back. And then you add more and you add more. And it's like, it's a dangerous thing. It's fun, but it's,
I hear you. I don't know. Yeah.
It's not for you though.
Doesn't tickle my pickle.
That's right.
You're probably better off, man.
No, it is. Dude, everything else I'm terrible with. Terrible with money. I drink a lot of booze. I smoke a lot of pot.
Listen, you can be free from one vice. It's okay. You don't
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
It's all right, man. Stay away.
I eat like a bastard. Like, it don't matter.
You're fucking crushing jalapeno burgers and fucking chili cheese fries made of burgers, old burgers.
Old burgers. That's my nickname. Chris Old Burgers.
Old Burgers.
That's a good Old West name. Yeah. Oh, here comes Old Burger Sorrentino.
Please, John, put that on my tombstone. Here lies Old Burgers and a picture of a Wendy's chili engraved on my tombstone.
What a stone burger on the top of it.
Can you get one of those etched pictures of me?
Yes.
Wendy's pigtail.
Wendy's pigtail. Yeah.
Yeah. In memoriam. Oh, that's funny as shit.
Serious. This is documented. It has to happen.
God damn it.
It's held up in court.
Yeah. So what do you guys? So you guys, obviously, I love the podcast. You guys are fucking hilarious. Obviously,
thanks.
And it's great. So when do you guys typically release your episodes? Do you not have like a schedule?
We do now. We do weekly, and we switch things to Tuesday. We release on Tuesdays now.
You're doing Tuesdays, and now which one, if either of you do you guys either of you produce? You mentioned that you guys both went to school for like audio video production.
Oh no, that's John. I do the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And then you sometimes when you see the little animated ones on Instagram and the stories and stuff like that, that's John animating it. I'm just sending him over the Photoshop files, and he's messing around.
You're actually doing the actual animation.
Doing that stuff. Yeah, but we got to go and like when we're recording, I operate the board and stuff. But like once we part ways, he's doing artwork for the episode. I'm doing the edit.
Yeah.
We're kind of putting in the hours both, and it's great. And then once he creates that art, he kind of sends me. He's doing everything digitally now, which has been really cool for me because he sends me stuff in layers, and I like doing some animation and stuff. Like, I'm not an artist, but I like that side of things. So when I have layers and stuff to play with, sometimes I get to like do animations.
That's fun shit.
So you're doing like, are you using Adobe Animator where you like build like a puppet, like you got, and you do all that, or you just?
I haven't done that yet. That's something I'd like to dive into. I'll use After Effects and like Premiere sometimes. I use Adobe Spark. I use this software. I'm blanking on the name now. I use this thing called Motion Leap sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's just like a lot of people do it with stills, but I like it for our stuff where I'll just like, you can add just different elements like blinking lights or smoke or snow and stuff like that. Because Chris will do artwork sometimes where there's like snow in the background. He gives that to me as a layer. I pull it out. I'll use Motion Leap to have actually like falling snow.
Moving. Yeah.
And we put it on Instagram. It's just, you try to grab people's eye because everybody just scrolls so fast now that if, you add little elements like that, I hope it helps us.
It's maybe the toughest part of like building content, I think, is just like we get actually a really decent amount of people that like watch our stuff, which is a really awesome for us. Cause we've like, again, we've been doing this for less than 2 years and we get great guests like you two. And we get to talk to cool people and we get a lot of people that watch it. Like, Casey, maybe you guys could beat Casey. You guys have now, you can fight for the movie. Like his episode in like a week or so got like 8,000 views. Like it's pretty good for us.
Yeah.
No, we're not gonna be Casey.
We're not gonna be Casey.
Oh well, Casey.
It's Casey. Look at the guy.
That handsome son of a bitch. God damn.
Dude, yeah. And he's out there, and he's out there in a few different ways as a musician and as a performer, and
improv guy.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing. We are. I'll be really honest with you. We've spent the last few weeks kind of rebranding and a new logo and trying to do the social media thing better because it's the thing that we're the worst at.
Yep. Same here.
And we have a really strong following, but like reaching new people. We surveyed our listeners and we were like, how did you find Super Live Adventure? And nobody said social media.
Yeah. They weren't saying Twitter. They said like, I got a flyer on my car at a Wendy's parking lot.
That's how we should be advertising.
Two things. It was either met one of you or saw you both live. It was
there
like
you go. Yeah.
Or it was by way of Impractical Jokers.
Or Jokers. Yeah. They saw him
because
saw me.
We are behind the scenes. My name comes up in the credits for like
a second. Like there I am.
Yeah. It's so quick.
Yeah.
So it's that's it. So we're trying to we're trying to readjust and figure out how to reach more people. It's a commitment to ask somebody.
Inside jokes helps.
Inside
jokes helps a lot.
When you have something like a running joke
screen.
Yeah. That's
good. They sometimes put our podcast.
Yeah, Mike is the guy behind that. He's a very funny comedian, but he also does all the Impractical Jokers inside jokes. So those are those like kind of pop-up video.
Yeah, the little things. Yeah, the quick ones.
And he throws us a bone all the time in there. And
he's the
best. There's times when we'll see a spike in numbers, and I know we didn't do anything.
It's because of that.
Yeah. Yes.
We started doing like little things on TikTok, just like little funny things that, but it's such a pain in the ass after you do all the work on like a 90-minute episode or an hour-long episode or something like that. And our episodes tend to run long, which I know that we should probably cut them down and do them in like 2 parts or something. But damn it, like you said, you just start talking and then it doesn't like the continuity gets fucked up if you stop it. So
yeah. Oh, I mean, it's a recent change for us where we now try to. For us now, the perfect episode is 45 minutes.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Even just like 6 months ago, it was an hour and 15. And before that, we had 2-hour episodes. We have an episode that's almost 4 hours. Like we used to go really long. And it's frustrating because it's not radio, right? It's not like if you have to go into work, you're going to miss the rest of it. Like you can pause it. You can listen.
Come back to it later. Yeah.
But there's something, and I get it. If somebody sends me a YouTube video that's 30 seconds, I'm going to watch it. If it's 3 minutes, maybe I'll watch it. If it's 10 minutes, I might save it for later. If it's 20 minutes, like I'm
at
get it.
4 hours. 4 hours. I'm gonna shit on my own phone.
Yes.
So it's hard. I get it. I put my it's hard for me to promote because I'm also like, well, nobody can. I don't know how anybody would sell a show that long to me. And get me.
I'm like, I'm not watching that. And but meantime, we're putting this content out there. It's literally, we just recorded one the other day, and I looked at it. It was like 98 minutes. I'm like, God damn it. Like, I almost feel like I have to cut it into pieces and then like put it out there. And I think that's sometimes the way that you have to do it is like, put it all in one. I think when people are hearing it, because we do a lot of YouTube stuff, when people are hearing it, they can just pop it on. Like someone was like, hey, I listened to your episode on pumpkin spice. And I was in a car for like 3 hours. So it was easy to be able to pop it on and listen to it. But it's hard for people just like to get into it and like listen to it for a long time. So I get that.
Probably
it's hard, but once we get people, I mean, our fan base is also amazing. So the people that we have, they've been with us for so long. And
we have a very tight connection with our like core fan base.
That's awesome.
We have a Discord channel where we all.
Oh, you do? Yeah, I've never gotten into the Discord thing. Like, I don't understand.
Pretty cool. It's pretty. I didn't at first either, and I was like,
we had to learn with our fans, and we had a couple listeners who were already using it for gaming, and they helped us out a lot.
Yeah.
The cool thing about it is you can really customize it, and you know what I'm excited to tell our listeners about is like there's no algorithm here and there's no ads. Like you see stuff as it comes in real time, and everything is categorized by channels. So like if there's a conversation you're not into, just don't even go in that room.
To a different channel.
It's kind of movie spoilers. Like you're not gonna have anything ruined. Outside of it,
it's very cool that way, and we're managing it. You know, where like our own Facebook, like Chris has gotten banned from Facebook for like making a fat joke about himself because you know what I mean? Because there's like
fat, drunk, and stupid. I wrote like fucking like Animal House, and I was quoting.
And they said they banned you for that.
Yeah, I got.
Listen,
yeah.
My wife is maybe the most wanted on. She's banned constantly. She is a fucking animal. She puts the most horrific shit on Facebook. Like I had to I was saying like if anyone ever really knew, because she changed her last name so it wasn't my last name, thankfully.
Yeah.
You know, so that no one could be like, oh my God, your wife's a monster. Like we're firing you and putting you in jail for being like, she said, put some really fucked up shit on Facebook. She just finds the worst memes possible.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. That's
just trolling. Just like,
just fucking with people. That's all she does. That's it. That's her. That's her
way to do it.
There aren't people making decisions about what to cut, or, you know what I mean? It's like sarcasm gets lost, comedy stuff. Right. So I'm really liking that we're building this community there because Chris and I are in charge of it. Mm-hmm. And there are rules. You know what I mean? It basically comes down to like, don't hurt anybody.
Right. Don't be a jerk off.
But otherwise, everything goes. And we really rely on our users where like, hey, if something bothers you, tell us. You know what I mean? And like, and we'll take care of it.
Yeah. You know what? All you could ask of somebody is like, hey, let's talk like we were all actually physically in somebody's house or in a bar.
You would say it in front of their face. You wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Like, be up front. Like, don't try to be this like a fucking keyboard tough guy. Like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, like just keep it real, and we're all good. You know?
Yeah. So it's been cool. That's kind of like for me. I put stuff out on social media, but for like my intake is just our Discord group now because I kind of get that experience and I interact with people, but there's none of the bullshit that comes from Facebook and everything else. Like I just don't need to do it anymore.
It's not worth it. It's just for the reasons that you said. So I got one more question before we wrap up here. I know I've had you for an hour and a half and I feel like I'm taking up all your valuable time in life.
No, not at all.
This has been a very fun conversation for me, at least. So
same here.
Thank you.
Usually we'd have like I said, my co-host, but who's probably robbing a place right now based on the way he was dressed.
Some Raising Arizona shit.
He's stealing diapers, running through a Randall Tex Cobb is chasing him. So about that, because you mentioned like, what is your feeling on that? Like on just kind of because again, you guys are both in comedy. You guys, obviously you're doing it because you love making people laughing, bringing people joy. What is your feeling about like kind of the current state of comedy in that regard? Because there's a lot of not only people that absorb or intake the comedy, which is their choice, right? They choose whether to listen to whatever but they react to it and say, well, that person shouldn't be able to say that. Or even people in comedy, which is the other question, which is people that are comedians that do that. Like, what is your feeling about those two situations?
Well, I mean, Chris, I'm sure you have your own ideas about it. I know for me, talking about things like Twitter and stuff, what was funny to me when comedians would tweet something and get banned or get in trouble and be like, you can't make any jokes anymore. I'd be like, well, Twitter is not a comedy audience, right?
No,
it's like a comedy audience, but it's also like my dad.
Yeah, it's the dinner table too. Like, it's things you.
So,
there's a place for it.
You want to go back 30 years, there were really funny jokes said in comedy clubs that you didn't go out on the street and yell out in public. So to me, Twitter is yelling in public and Facebook is yelling in public.
Same thing.
And the reality is, like, if you go into a comedy club, if you go into a venue, if you go into an appropriate place, and there's an audience there that came for that, I still think you can say whatever you want. It better be funny. I mean, that's the only rule. And unfortunately, you know, people will record things and maybe post stuff, and I understand like the ideas of like cancel culture and stuff, but we're kind of like, everybody's trying to perform to the masses now, and it's like, we never did. You're not supposed to. It's not for everybody. And when I go into,
if you please everybody, you're a bad
I get on stage. I don't feel that I'm so censored and like hindered. Now times have changed and I've grown as a person, and there's certain jokes that I was making 15 years ago that I wouldn't make now. That's something else. But yeah, I don't really buy into it. I think it's more, we're all learning how to navigate social media in this like new world. And I don't think you're supposed to yell jokes out to everybody. And it's
access, like you said, it's like going into the middle of the street and yelling it. Like, people are going to like, hey, I'm just here. Like, I just happened to be walking by and saw that and like, that was fucked up. Like,
yeah, it's the literal definition of out of context.
Exactly.
Out of fucking context.
Right. And I don't know you, right? So I don't know that is meant to be a joke necessarily, and I don't know that that's your style of humor. And I may not be one to absorb that kind of style of humor. Maybe that's not my bag. So yeah, it's time and place for everything, right? That's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah. And I think we got to get back.
I agree with that.
Just kind of like, you know, kind of having kind of trying to focus things a little bit more, but it's hard to promote yourself. You got to get out there too. It's a tricky thing, but
also, and I mean, like, listen, I'm not saying I know how to crack it. It's a tough nut, but if you go back and you watch like stuff that would be, I guess, canceled today, some of it, not all of it, some of it, it's not, it doesn't have a mean edge like it would today.
Right. Right.
Like, you go back like stuff like Eddie Murphy stuff.
Right.
Stuff like that. Like some of it is rough now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, it's not really like it doesn't sound as harsh as it would coming from somebody today.
Well, do you think it's because
like, it would be a different delivery? It would be a different,
right?
It would have a different edge to it. And I don't know, I guess because everything evolves, that's just what comedy became.
Yeah.
But you couldn't deliver some of those, now not so,
PC,
not so PC, not so popular jokes nowadays like you could then. Like, I'm not even saying like you could say that back in the day. Yeah. I'm saying like also like there was a certain delivery then too that I think worked with that. Like, go back and watch like Spaceballs, some of the jokes even made in there and stuff. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, something changed. I don't know exactly where, but
the audience has a voice. The audience has a bullhorn now. There was a time where people wrote angry letters, and we didn't see them.
No, right.
That was a big part of it, and I think that's fine. When people ask me how I felt about like Chappelle's last special, I was like, I'm glad it exists, and I saw what like Hannah Gadsby said in response to it, and I'm glad that exists. And Netflix defended it, and I'm glad they did. And then there's employees that were upset and they protested it, and I'm glad they did. I'm glad as long as we live in a country where everybody still has a voice, that's all I want. When we start shutting stuff down, everything that's said, I hope it sparks a conversation, and I don't think we should just be shutting it down. I think we should listen and respond, not listen and shut down. And that's where I stand on all of it.
Right. And then, if it'll change in 10 years, and, it'll evolve. To your point. Like, I don't think that we're so not used to having so much access to each other yet. And that's the problem, is that no one knows how to navigate that quite yet. They're still fumbling around with it and figuring it out.
We're not supposed to. I mean, you said you're like a comic book guy when it's like, whenever anybody in X-Men like connects to Cerebro, or like an Indiana Jones movie, whenever anybody gets all knowledge, or it's like Bruce Almighty when he first gets the powers of God and he hears every prayer, or Daredevil gets his superpowers and he can hear everybody in the city. They all lose their fucking mind.
Poor Ben Affleck.
They all fucking snap. You're not supposed to take in that much from that many people. We all have to come. We have to have our circles, and it needs to be smaller than it is. We're not meant to hear what everybody in the world is thinking. We're not. It's snapping.
No.
Yeah, it's fucking everybody up.
Yeah.
So, all right, one last question for you guys. This is the last final question. So we were talking about comic books. What is in your mind, the worst person adaptation? Because you mentioned about Affleck doing Daredevil. The worst actor adaptation of a superhero, in your opinion.
Oh,
well,
wow.
I mean, are we talking real movies, or could we go to like Roger Corman, Fantastic Four, or
whatever you
Captain America? Like, you
want to go that deep? Go for it. Like, what do you? What's the worst? Who is the worst?
Well, Topher Grace, Venom. We mentioned that's up there.
God, Eddie Brock. He was a terrible Eddie Brock. He's that 70 shows guy. Like, God.
Yeah.
I blame the script on that. I think that was an Eddie Brock that was written differently. They wanted to mirror Peter Parker in a way.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying Topher Grace. What about you?
You know what? I don't know if I can.
That's an option. I'm trying.
Oh, you're not done yet. Okay. Yeah.
I might be.
Just throw it out there. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I don't know if I could say the worst, but I'll tell you this: Tobey Maguire is not a great Peter Parker.
No,
and I think for a lot of people who didn't know the comics, they love him, and I like those first two Sam Raimi movies.
But has the spirit of them.
The movies are kind of funny, but he's not. And Peter Parker,
he's very funny.
Is a funny character, and that is something that is lost in that performance. And I actually do not like him as Peter Parker. If I could go back in time, I would have Michael J. Fox be Peter Parker in the 80s.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, in the 90s, it was like James Cameron was supposed to be making it with Leonardo DiCaprio as Peter Parker. Yeah, that was the rumor in the 90s.
Oh,
yeah.
No way, man. I'm glad that didn't happen. That would have been bad.
He's supposed to be funny, so that's definitely not a popular opinion, and I don't dislike those movies, but I'm gonna say that's poor.
I'm not laying down Jared Leto Joker.
Oh yeah. That was bad.
That's terrible.
That was really bad.
That's terrible.
It literally, the teeth, the ha. I mean,
it's so on the nose. Ha written on his head. Like, you're so stupid. It's terrible.
That was bad.
And I have no problem with the Joker being like a gangster. You want to go that route, whatever. But like, the whole fucking tattoo Kid Rock thing, like, man,
just rough.
No thanks.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I probably would stay with DC, and man, I didn't like. I didn't like either of these. I didn't like Clooney as Batman, and
Val Kilmer
as Batman. They were both.
Val Kilmer
was bad.
What's his name? Bill Finger. Not Bill Finger. The other one. Bob Kane.
Oh, Bob Kane.
He said that Val Kilmer's Bruce Wayne was exactly how he imagined him.
Really?
Like, that was his favorite Yeah, I swear to God.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look it up. Some kind of weird article
crazy.
I remember reading forever ago.
It's a stiff performer.
Oh, just not good. And I like Val Kilmer generally. I like most things I like him in. Like him playing Doc Holliday in Tombstone is maybe one of my favorite performances of anybody ever.
Fucking A. Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Well,
gentlemen.
Wait, real quick before you wrap. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. No, please.
Give me your favorite Batman then.
Oh, damn. Man, it's kind of a toss up between
you opened up this can.
I did. It's probably a tie between. Are we talking movie Batman, or are we talking like even going back to?
Yeah, let's
Adam
keep
West?
it the movie. Yeah,
okay.
Not gonna go to like.
So then I would
West,
say
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, no, I can't. Yeah, I would say probably it's like Keaton and Bale, like they're.
Dude, I feel
I'm with you on that too.
They're maybe Bale over Keaton just because he was more physically like Batman. I would think like Keaton was he's a smaller guy. It's kind of why.
Yeah, he's Keaton. Yeah,
the one that's coming out I'm really not
the
excited.
Flashpoint thing. No, you're not excited.
I'll tell you why. The one that's coming, not the Flashpoint, the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Oh, Rob Pattinson. Yeah, I'm not that excited about that either.
They're jamming too many. This is the clear-cut sign that you're fucking up a superhero movie. And the Batman movie in particular, you're putting too many villains in it. Penguin,
Riddler, Catwoman.
They showed the Joker. Fucking Phoenix. I swear to God, one of the previews they saw. You see one of the one of those things go up, like a divider go up, and he's sitting in there. It's Joaquin Phoenix in orange jumpsuit. They're fucking putting him in there too.
Wow, I thought he was kind of doing that movie
like separate,
like that was like this was a separate thing. This is like
I just saw it. I was like, no.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
No,
That's
and like Robert Pattinson, like I just see the twinkly vampire from Twilight, and I can't.
No, you know what? I once fell down that road. Watch The fucking Lighthouse.
I heard about that movie.
Yo, the Lighthouse is dope. It's directed by the fella who did The Witch. You ever see that?
Yeah.
That fucking, it's intense like that. The whole movie's Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. They're two guys stuck together in a lighthouse, and the storm's so bad the relief boat can't pick them up, and they slowly go fucking nuts. Willem Dafoe just can't stop farting throughout the whole movie. It's like fucking crazy, but it's not a comedy at all. It's like nuts.
Yeah, Jesus Christ! I told you not to eat that jalapeno burger before you got into the lighthouse. God damn it!
Old burgers.
I'm not gonna go watch that movie. That sounds pretty great, and I love Willem Dafoe.
Oh, well, I'm telling you, it's a home run. Watch it.
Yeah, I
totally recommend.
He's hard to take.
I liked it.
All right, well, fair enough. Robert Pattinson's Batman again. I don't know.
Stink.
I don't know, man.
Stink. I don't know. Stunk.
And I'm guessing you guys didn't like Affleck as Batman either.
I'm not a fan. He's not. He doesn't pull it off. He's a damn good Bruce Wayne a la Batman the animated series. Like he doesn't totally looks like that chunk of beef.
Yep.
But like as for his Batman, it just doesn't work for me.
Not for you either.
Yeah. No.
Nope. So what did we learn today? There's only a couple of good Batmans, and
yeah, literally a couple.
Yeah, and you guys at some point burst into each other's hole. I think you said, or which break?
Yes.
Oh, I broke his hole.
You broke his hole.
We broke each other's holes.
Yeah, you broke my hole.
Oh, okay. Well, that's yeah. I like that you clarified. Like, hey, I wasn't the only one getting the hole broken. He got that.
Yeah, no.
There was a receipt.
Yeah.
Got me to open up more, and I think I got him to rein it in a little bit.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's
right.
True.
So you were more of the gentle lover. He was.
he tightened my hole.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being. So first of all, everyone,
great time.
We have Super Live Adventure. And Practical Jokers. I didn't even get to ask you about Fetal Fury. I don't know what the hell that is, but I saw that on your IMDb. What the hell is that? I'm going to do another 5 minutes on Fetal Fury before we go.
I think it's so funny that it's on IMDb. It's
so good.
I do my research before I get a guest.
So there's a bit where where the guys are trying to give away tickets to something that they have, a show that they can't go see. And one of the things that I wrote on the show was Fetal Fury. And then I kind of wrote a description of this movie, and then on a Practical Jokers after party, that's like the after show that Joey Fatone.
Oh yeah, right. Yes.
Sometimes they do little bits and sketches, and the creative team behind that, Megan Rico, really kind of pushed for it to happen. A bunch of people. I don't want to name names because I'll forget somebody, but they produced a short trailer for what Fetal Fury is. It's like a very like trauma-esque.
Well, it looked like that. I was like, is there a horror movie that I missed? I love horror movies. I'm like, what's up with Fetal Fury?
The trailer kills me, and the one that made the show actually got cut down a little bit. The full trailer, it's one of my favorite things I ever did as part of the Jokers. It's like very, very obscure, but like Megan Rico's in it. Kim Congdon is in it. Very funny.
Kim. She's so funny.
She's the one like in labor, and it's like, yeah, it's basically this like fetus kind of sneaks out in the middle of the night and goes to kill her, like its father, like who
okay. Luis J. Gomez.
It's it's one of my favorite things we ever did. Yeah, it's
that's awesome. Is it out there? Can I see it? So could you look at this trailer somewhere?
I think you can. If you look for Fetal Fury on YouTube or something, you might be able to find it. Yeah.
All right, everyone, go check out Fetal Fury because that sounds hilarious. Super live adventure. All the Domies got to go check out that. And Practical Jokers, obviously. You guys are fucking fantastic. Actually, there's sometimes where every guest we've had on the show has been great, and you two have been no different. Awesome guests. The only thing that makes this really great for me is that Kevin missed it. All of it. And I get to now rub it in his face. And he just beat me for the last playoff spot in fantasy football. So guess what, Kevin? Fuck you, motherfucker.
Yeah, you suck it, man. Congratulations.
Take that, you bastard.
You suck it.
Yeah.
And I hope your baby shits up his back and gets it on your pillow. All right.
Give that baby some Taco Bell.
Chili cheeseburgers for everyone.
Yeah, you sneak it in there when he's not
30
looking.
diapers from Checkers.
That's right. All right. Goodbye, everybody.